Hello and welcome. Welcome to today's webinar. I am so glad that you're taking a little bit of time to join myself, Joseph Puckett, and Craig Wiggins to talk with you about transforming your agency and turning it into an elite organization that can honestly run at a high level with or without you.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in our industry today, right? Carriers are changing comp plans. They're changing the way the model is run. A lot of them are focusing more on direct. There's even questions about, are we going to be around? And we definitely think agencies are going to be around, but you're going to have to do things a lot different than the way you do them today.
Yeah, and we'll make a pretty bold statement. Let me pull it up on the screen. To transform your agency and evolve in this new world, you can't continue to do business the same way. Let's talk bluntly for a moment. The world's changed. The world's changed a lot, even just the past couple years because of the pandemic. Technology has changed a lot of things over the past 10, 15 years or so. It's becoming more and more difficult now to hire and to staff your agency. I know nobody out there has a challenge with that right now, right? Are you good with that? Do we need to fast forward? No. Staffing and hiring has been a huge challenge. There's also been major changes in the way we can interact with customers.
Absolutely. Just reaching somebody, pick up the phone and calling somebody. Years ago, they would answer or call you back. Now that's gotten very, very difficult. And with the TCPA laws, the compliance around that, you got to market a little bit different than the way you used to. You got to deal with customers in a different way. Leads are constantly going up. They're skyrocketing. The quality of those leads, it just continues to drop. So you got to start navigating through that. And some carriers have really restricted who you can and can't work with. So there's a lot of things going on with that. And then obviously training your staff. How do you get your staff to perform? How do you get them to perform at a level high enough to not only justify their position, but to help you grow your agency and scale and get where you truly want to go?
Well, I hope that you are all ready to learn a lot because we've got a jam-packed, powerful presentation just for you. But before we dive in, maybe you should know who we are, right? So Craig, go ahead.
Yeah, look, I started in the business back in 1996. I started from scratch. We didn't have any policies, nothing, and we built that to $40 million agency in several states with several locations, made all the awards, got Hall of Fame, all that kind of stuff. And, through the years, really started working with a lot of owners and a lot of staff and helping people. And then we started this business in 2017. And this year I decided to sell and focus solely on CWC and work with owners and work with staff. And it's been great. We've got a mentoring program called Inner Circle where we work with our highest level members. And it's just been a very rewarding experience to work with everybody, regardless of the level that they're in, to get the feedback and understand that the role that we played in their life and the journey that they have, and that we're on that journey with them, helping them become successful. And then this guy right here, he jumped along with about 10 years ago. And Joseph, why don't you tell them about yourself?
Sure. So long story short, because I could go on all day. Started my own agency in 2009. So that's when I started my agency. I left banking at really the height of the financial crisis. Everything was crashing. I was like, bye, y'all. Goodbye. I'm out. I decided that I wanted to do something that was more recession-proof. That's what led me to insurance. And what we found, unfortunately, a few years ago, insurance is not only recession-proof, it's also pandemic-proof. Mm-hmm. Does anybody remember, every day you wake up to millions of jobs, being lost, 50, 60 million people became unemployed in like 6 weeks. Businesses were closing, many of which never came back. All the while, we kept growing. The agencies in our programs kept growing. Sometimes I felt a little guilty about that. I did. But you know what? It's a beautiful industry. It's a wonderful industry. And you are going to create something really special for you and your family. What I do in our program is I lead our weekly trainings that are open to all CWC members of all levels. I also work with several dozen agency owners, just like Craig does personally in my higher level programs. And, working with staff, that is really the biggest thing. But before we jump into how we help staff, let's go over some case studies of some success stories so you can know kind of about the people that we work with. Us, let's talk about the people we work with.
Yeah, and we get these literally, guys, every day. Text, emails, Facebook messages. This is one from Christopher Costello after just a very short period of time working with our program. And you can read the email on the screen and what he's been able to accomplish. And just look at his retention now. It's up over 91%. It's increasing every month. He was already a pretty good producer. I would say he's a high-level producer, but production went up 86% over last year in his total new business, and up 283% in umbrellas.
Wow.
So this is just one example. And again, we have literally hundreds of these.
Yeah, we could go through all of them, but there's so many. I do want to single out one more. It's our good friend Greg Blanchard down in Florida. See, Greg's already a successful mega agent, doing really, really well, but he bought into our program, and his team really bought into our program. And take a look, we're up 67% in umbrellas over last year. The quality of business that we're writing is so much better, retaining it better. Our bundling is going up. We're up 21% year to date in his carrier volume. Y'all, this was already a successful agency that got better. But, we work with many other agencies as well as time goes on. I want to highlight this one right here. Jay, for example, his close rate. Jay's not the largest agency in the state of Florida like Greg is, one of in Florida. Why don't you talk about the results that Jay's team had?
Yeah, just after a very short period of time, really just a few weeks, his close rate went up dramatically. And this is someone who's been with him for a couple of years. The things that you're going to learn in our program, very practical. It's nothing real complicated. People pick this stuff up really quickly, and Jay's was definitely one of those.
There's one more I got to highlight. I got to highlight this one from Paris.
Yeah, Paris, just read the post. He had an increase in his premium by 25%. And the great thing was his staff saw that it was possible to sell when they were higher. That's a constant problem all across the country, especially now with all the rate increases. Well, he learned how to do that, and his staff developed the mindset to be successful even when they were uncompetitive.
Well, speaking of staff really have a huge place in my heart since I work with so many of them in my program and every single week with all of our agencies. I wanted to pull up some of our award winners and kind of tell you what this is and how we reward members in our program. So we have our Century Club. The CWC Century Club recognizes individuals that write 100 or more policies in a single month. Just 1 month. We also have gold, silver, and bronze awards where they can earn additional awards for increased level of production. This is just a quick picture of one of our Century Club Award winners, one of dozens. And we've sent over 500 awards all across the country to team members for having increases in production while following our training. It's really powerful. So those are the types of people that we work with, and I hope that that's exciting you. Maybe you relate to one or two of these situations here. We're going to dive in a lot deeper today to show you how you can start to transform your agency. And you know what? We need to start with the big one. The big one, staffing. Let's ask a question right now. In fact, let me pull it up on the screen. Are you scared to hire? Are you scared to hire? Are you tired of bringing on the wrong staff? Let's talk about how we're going to help you with this very, very difficult situation that we have right now. Staffing. Pillar 1, staffing, hiring, and developing elite producers that can write 100 plus policies a month.
Yeah, take a look at this first case study. This is from Myra. Just look at what her producer has been able to accomplish, going from $35,000 a month to $100,000 a month because she followed our hiring process, our onboarding process, and held that person accountable.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite case studies and examples. Billy. Billy's hiring process changed overnight, right after joining Craig Wiggins Coaching. He realized that he had to change the way they were bringing on producers. Here's an example of Billy following our hiring process, and a team member brought in not 10, not 20, not a list of 50 people. No, this new hire brought in 100 prospects to quote on his very first day at the agency with Billy. And why? How did that happen? Was that their idea? No. What I want to talk with you about, or what Craig can talk with you about more as well, is our very specific 12-step hiring process. One of the steps, which one is it? Step 9. Step 9 of the 12-step hiring process is where we require new team members bring in some prospects. I don't care if it's 10 or 15 or 20, 25. This team member was set a goal of 50, and he brought in 100 to Billy's office. But can you talk about the importance of having a well-defined hiring process?
Yeah, first, let me say this to you guys, that I was terrible at hiring for many, many years, and everything that you're going to hear in this webinar and everything you hear in our program, it's really just a compilation of a lot of mistakes, a lot of dumb mistakes, honestly, where we used to just hire and throw them in the deep end of the pool and hope they could swim. And then when they didn't and drowned, we'd drag them out and go get somebody else. So over time, we learned, what was missing. Why did that person not work out? Why did we have to fire them, or why did they quit? And we developed this. We develop all these steps. So these steps are all very, very important. They're part of the process for a reason. And that reason is basically because of what's happened over the past. So, that's what you're learning about, are the things that we made mistakes on, and learn from that to get better for the next time. And part of that is accountability. Part of that is prospecting. The case study that Joseph was talking about, asking people to bring in, prospecting sheets, quote sheets, if you will, up front. It proves that they can prospect. It proves they can talk to people. It's another hoop for people to jump through to make sure that we are bringing on people that are going to be able to prospect our win backs, our requotes, the people that we're going to ask them to talk to. If they can't talk to their friends and family, it's probably not going to work out. And it gives us a pool of people to work with them on as we go through the onboarding process. It's really important to us that we get them up and running very, very quickly, and doesn't take 90 days or 6 months. And by bringing in those prospects on day one, it allows us to work with them from the very, very first day to find out, is this person a candidate or not?
Yes. So within our hiring process packet, we include a complete interview guide, mapping out all the questions to ask, in what order and in which manner. We map out how to set expectations and hold them accountable, how to create comp plans, things that we're about to show you right now here in just a few minutes. You will love it. But it all starts with setting expectations and then holding them accountable. And the agencies that use our program that do so are building a winning team. Now, where are we going to find all these people? Where are we going to find all these people, y'all? Seriously, especially right now as you're watching this video, it's really, really challenging. Well, here's what we teach on our platform, and there's many chapters on all of this and training sessions and all of this. Indeed resume search alerts. Love, love, love Indeed resume search alerts. Not just job ads, which are also important, but Indeed resume search alerts, where you cast a wide net and catch more fish. It's amazing, a powerful tool. We also teach how to utilize social media to connect with likely team members and people that can refer team members to you. We love social media and have many examples on our platform, like videos that you can post, like create and post, postings that you can make and graphics and share about why someone should be a part of your team is really cool. Utilizing recruiting firms might be a part of your strategy or something that you've been considering. We actually work with a couple that are really fantastic resources for our members, and they can really fast track getting a lot of candidates to you. It is an investment, but can speed things along. What's the opportunity cost of not having the right people in the right seats? Very, very high. We also teach how to get referrals from your current team members, right? You have great team members. Guess what? They probably know other great people that could potentially be good fits. That's probably our second biggest source of staffing Craig's agencies. Number one was Indeed. I'm telling you, Indeed resume search alerts. 2, referrals from staff. Others, referrals from customers, referrals from the community, actively recruiting in the community. I can think of several team members we've had over the years that we found because we were out and about and shopping or networking, or our team members were, and they met other people that'd be a good fit. Now, this last bullet that I have here on the slide is remote ? Can you talk about how that's evolved?
Yeah, look, I mean, guys, you gotta think about it. The pandemic changed this in a dramatic way, where now people, they almost expect it to be an option. So if you're not exploring that, if you're not working on, being able to develop processes to hire people remotely, in other states, you're going to miss out, and you're going to miss out on people that they're going to take an option someplace else where they do allow them to work remotely. But it also broadens your net too. Like the last 5 or 6 hires we made in the agency on the production side, they were all remote from different states all over the country. It allowed us to recruit in other areas. So maybe you live in a small town that doesn't have a lot of people, or maybe you live in a place where the cost of living is really, really high. Well, if you go remote, it allows you to prospect in other places where maybe you have an advantage over your, the local area that you're in. So if nothing else, it's something that you've got to consider. And there are definitely processes that need to be put into place to do it correctly, because it's a little more difficult to get people up to speed, to hold them accountable, to develop them when you're working with them via Zoom versus face-to-face. But I think you definitely have to think about it as an option. If you don't, you're going to get left behind.
Sure. And we have about 6 hours, off the top of my head, 6 hours of training sessions just on how to build out a remote team. It's really, really powerful trainings that one of our coaches has put together, because he has a mega agency with over 30 staff, almost all working remotely. So all these different moving parts, we can help. Now, let's talk about compensation plans and what they need to consider when creating and updating their compensation plans.
Yeah, comp is huge. And you think about, what does comp do for somebody? It changes their behavior, right? When you think about the way you get paid by your carrier, they have specific hooks in there to make sure that you do certain things. That's the reason why you're paid the way you're paid. And a lot of times agencies don't pay correctly. That their salary maybe is way too high, maybe way too low. That the comp plan is all over the place. Maybe there's just a base comp in terms of commission. We believe that you need to have a tiered comp plan with really high standards. And that highest standard, the highest tier, frankly, should be something that no one's ever achieved. The last thing you want is for your team to get to, say, 6% commission because that's the top of your plan and feel like, well, I've arrived, I've made it. There's nothing else for me to do. So you need a tiered program that rewards people for doing a lot more. And then I think you need to have some bonuses in place too. You don't have to do them every single month, but periodic bonuses are really, really good. I think you should have a participation bonus where basically you have a goal, and that goal, once it's met, then it's paid out based off the people in your office, their participation towards that goal. So if they do 8% of the goal, they get 8% of the money, right? So if you have a goal of, say, let's just keep it easy, 100 a month, maybe you've never hit 100 in a month before, and you got $1,000 at stake, right? Someone does 20%, they do 20 out, well, then they get 20% of the $1,000. So participation goals, the bonuses, those are fantastic ways to motivate your team. And then fast starts are also a great way to motivate people as well. You can make sure people get started off quickly. So you can do those like the first month of the first week of the month rather. You can do a fast start bonus to make sure they get started off really, really fast.
Yeah, and I want to pull something up for y'all to show just one of the over 100 documents and processes that we have on the platform. It is our compensation plan examples. Now, this is an Excel spreadsheet, so you can go in and edit your tiers, whether you pay based on premium or policies or points, however you pay within your agency. But take a look. Take a look at our top tiers. Many agencies tier maxes out at like 35 policies a month or $30,000 of premium. As Craig was just mentioning, that bar is too low. We need to start getting our staff to think much bigger.
And let me say something about that, because I think sometimes people look at this and they're like, wow, you're paying 16% commission, right? And that's 16% commission. That's not 16% of what the agency gets. That's 16% commission, and that's on top of their salary. And I think that what you need to think about, when I was really trying to get the agency rolling and trying to get to that, initially $5 million mark and then $10 million mark, to scale your agency, to truly grow your agency in a significant way, you're going to have to pay your people in a significant way. Yeah. If you're only going to pay them 2%, 3%, 4% commission, there's not going to be a lot of drive for them. There's not going to be a lot of incentive for them. You really have to pay more upfront than what you're getting in that current month. Because I know some people look at that. Well, that's more than what I'm getting paid. Well, but remember, you're getting renewals. You're trying to develop this recurring revenue stream, right? The average customer stays with a captive agency about 7.2 years. So even if you lost money in years 1, 2, maybe even year 3, you're still making it in 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that's how you scale. That's one part of how you scale. So when you think about comp, it's really, really important that we need to give these people reasons to do more. They've got to be incentivized. We've got to change their behavior. So when you use a tiered comp plan like this, and I love this document, Joseph put this together to give an illustration. When you first start talking to somebody, look, you want to make 100, you want to make 150, you want to make 200, here's what you've got to do. And the great thing about this is Excel-based. You get this as part of our program. You can input whatever salary you want in there. You can put the average premium per policy or per item, and it will tell you what they need to accomplish in order to make certain amounts of money. So when you're hiring somebody, and right now, if they're new to this business, they don't really know what, base plus commission even means. A lot of people don't understand that. Even people that have been in the business for a long time, they may not really have a good understanding of how this is going to work out. This is a great document to sit down with them and say, look, this is what you're going to have to do. This is what you're going to have to do monthly, daily, how many sales you're going to have to make in order to make this kind of money. And it really shows them what the overall opportunity is. So many times you miss out on people that are going someplace else, maybe because their salary maybe is a little bit higher, but the overall opportunity is nowhere near as close. This document really does a great job of that.
That's right. So we have identified candidates. We've interviewed them. They're going through our hiring process. Everything's good. They're checking every box. They're making it through the whole process. Once we get them on board, how do we get somebody rolling really quickly, Craig?
Yeah, we got to create a sense of urgency. Okay, so we talk to people all the time, especially people that are brand new to our program, and they'll make a reference about someone's they've only been here for 90 days. They've only been here for 6 months. And we're like, look, you should be able to know, like within the first week, like you should be able to know in the first few days if this person's going to work out or not. And then you have a constant, pattern of development as you move forward. There's got to be a process there to get them better. So we create a sense of urgency from day one. We've got daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals that they've got to hit. And typically we're going to know in the first 2 or 3 days, that weekly goal, that first week's goal, if they don't hit that, they're way off, we know it's not going to work out. And we got to hold them accountable. Now, the other part of accountability is you got to hold yourself accountable too. You got to make sure that you're giving these people the support, the resources, the training, everything that they need to truly be successful. You can't bring somebody in and have all these goals in place, all these things that they need to do, but then just kind of sit back and let it happen. Or maybe what happens a lot of times is it's not intentional, but you get pulled off of helping them, right? Like you thought, I'll sit with them for the first 3 or 4 days. I'll really be there shoulder to shoulder. I'll do a good job. But then that claim phone call comes in, or that billing question, or something else, that pulls you away from being able to help them. If those things are going on, well, you got to hold yourself accountable. And what that may mean is that you've got to change, the goals that you set for them, or maybe step your game up a little bit where you can do a little bit more and truly give them the support that they need.
Yeah, so developing your team, that's a wonderful segue into this. So let me pull up this slide. What should be included in your agency's training and support system for developing elite level producers? Well, what we provide is training modules with a step-by-step sales process and scripts, word for word scripts. We have newer team members join our program that have immediate success because they're literally just reading the scripts, right? Weekly team meetings for ongoing training and development. Well, we do that too. We do that every single Wednesday afternoon for all of the members in our program, but also encourage that you have weekly meetings where you spend time role playing, not just going over numbers, things like that, but having role play exercises that mirror real world conversations with customers and prospects. Well, guess what? Our scripts can help you do that too. See, what's cool about our scripts is it has like the opening lines and then some of the most common objections that people get. Well, you can literally just read the script and do some role play with your staff. It's really, really awesome because practice makes permanent. Now, individual coaching, listening to recorded calls, reviewing quotes, y'all, that's something that you're going to need to carve out time for. And it's really, really important. What's more important, right? Your developing of your staff, you're giving your staff, your team, your time is one of the wisest investments that you're going to make. And guess what? You might be thinking, Joseph, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start with that. We have courses on the platform that will teach you how to coach, role play, lead team meetings. We actually have team meetings done for you that you can literally play chunks of the parts of the meeting to help facilitate a team meeting. It's fantastic. Last but not least, recognition, praise, and constant reinforcement to drive them further. I believe that is so important, y'all. We got to keep raising the bar on what's not just accepted, but what's possible, and really reward those that are top performers. And the others will either want to come along, or maybe they'll invite themselves to work somewhere else. You're going to build a team of winners. Guess what? Even if you follow our hiring process, you're still going to make some bad hires. Identifying quicker who's not going to work out is really, really good. One way, and really the last part of this pillar that we're going to talk about before we move to the next pillar, that you can hold your team accountable is our pyramid of minimum expectations.
Yeah, look, accountability is huge. And frankly, a lot of people struggle with this. And people really struggle with the idea of having to sit down and talk with somebody. Maybe they avoid it altogether. Or when they do, it doesn't go very well, mainly because of the way they go about it. This is a document that we have in our program. It's called the Pyramid of Expectations, minimum expectations. And basically what it shows is it illustrates to them what we're looking for. We start at the top. Production is the most important thing. So if you have 2 items, 2 policies in a day, we're good. We're probably not going to have much of a conversation about what you're doing. If you don't have the production, if you don't have the two items or 2 policies, then we're looking for 10 quotes. right? So we need to make sure that that's going on. If you don't have the production, you got to be making the quotes. If you don't have the quotes, then you got to have the phone calls, 80 phone calls in a day. So we're building this off of, activity, well, with obviously the production in mind at the very end. Now, one thing that can help you a lot when you're trying to hold your staff accountable, and I think a lot of agencies miss, and I missed this for years, you got to find out what's important to them and then use that goal, the personal goal they have for themselves, to weave into all of this. Okay, so if I'm bringing Joseph on, and frankly, this starts during the interview. So once I realize that Joseph's a good candidate, I'm going to make him an offer. We're going to try to bring him aboard. I'm going to ask him, what is your financial why? What is it that drives you to get up every day, right? Do you want to get out of your apartment and buy a house? Do you want to buy a new car? Do you want to pay off your debt? Whatever that is, once I know what it is he wants to do, and I have the specifics around that. Let's say he's trying to get out of his apartment and he wants to buy a house, and it's going to take $10,000 in down payment money, plus there's another $500 a month difference in the rent and the mortgage. Now I've got real numbers, right? And I ask him, what's the timeline in which you want to do that? And he says, well, I'd like to do it in the next year. Well, now I have exactly what he needs to do, what he needs to produce to make that happen. And I'm just going to take my average premium. I'm going to take the quotes that he's got to do. I'm going to take the calls that he's got to do. And I'm going to calculate what he has to do every day from a production perspective and an activity perspective to make those goals happen for himself. And then going forward, anytime we have a problem, anytime he's not on pace for what he should be doing, to get in that house, then the conversation will be about the house. It'll be about his family. It'll be about what he's trying to accomplish, not necessarily the agency. The pyramid of minimum expectations, that's just a minimum expectation to be able to keep your job. His goals, they're going to be probably a little bit different than that. Maybe not that much different, but they're probably going to be a little bit different than what our minimum is. But the conversation can be the same thing. So if someone's struggling, it's a lot easier to make it about them than it is to make it about you or the agency. Okay, because they may show that they care or talk about how much they care. They don't care as much as you care. They care about themselves. They care about their family. So always remember that when it comes to accountability, that you need to do things to help them accomplish what they want, not help you accomplish what you want. Because frankly, that's not going to be nearly as important to them. And when they know you care, when they know you're sincere, and you're really more of an accountability partner with them versus just being their boss, then you're going to get more out of them. That's when you're going to be able to get the full potential out of somebody and get them to do a lot more. So always remember that when you're having difficulty with accountability. Go back to the interview. Think about the expectations you put in place, the conversation that you have. Did you really make anything about them, or was it really just all about the agency? Or did you just avoid that conversation altogether and not have any kind of standards or expectations in place? That's a huge problem in itself. But once you do put this in place and make this a part of your process, take it that one step further, find out what's important to them, make it about them.
Y'all, this is just a brief glimpse at all of the things that are available to those that are in CWC's On Demand program. We have many different goal setting forums and processes and comp plans and training sessions on all this. We can talk about this for hours, but we got to move on. Let me ask you another question. We're going to transition to the next pillar. Are you tired of wasting money on leads? Well, guess what? You are not alone. You are not alone out there watching this call. Finding the right leads and doing the right marketing has changed and evolved a lot. So pillar number 2 that we're going to talk about right now is how you can transform the way that your agency does leads and marketing and generating sales.
Yeah, and the first thing that we want to talk about is the fact that you don't have to spend more money on leads and marketing to do better, right? I want you to take a look at this really quick from Kathy Jordan. She basically is talking about how her team is doing more with what they already have. Sold an umbrella to a customer who's calling in about a rate increase, okay? This is exactly what we're trying to help you with. There's so much that goes on in an agency every single day, and sometimes owners feel like the way to fix the problem is just to get their credit card out, call a lead company, and that solves all their potential problems regarding lead generation, marketing, that type of thing. I don't think it can be any more from the truth. That there's a lot more that you can do right now, and that's what we're going to talk about in this segment, without having to spend more money.
Yeah, I want to show my good friend Francis. Francis Wright, been an agency owner for over 30 years now. started working with us many, many years ago, and this was one of her testimonials. I'm so proud to say this month I wrote over 100 items. I haven't done that in a long time. Thank you for the coaching and training that I've received. You've made what seemed impossible possible.
And think about that for a second. She's been an agent for over 30 years, right? Long, long time. And she wrote 100, right? So a lot of times owners, they feel kind of detracted. They feel like detached, whatever, and that their staff needs to do these things. She's out there doing it. She got in the ditch and dug the ditch with them, and she knew that she needed to get it done in order to accomplish what she wanted to accomplish. So props to Francis for that.
Powerful. Before we dive into paid lead sources, let's rewind a minute. Craig was talking about doing more with what you already have. So let's go ahead and pull up those slides. Doing more with what you already have. The easiest money you're ever going to make is the money you've already made, right? I forget who said that phrase. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, look, people ask us all the time about our program. Am I going to spend more money than what I spend today? And that's no. We hope that you can save money. We hope that you can cut back, because most of the time, people are not following processes very well when it comes to paid leads. Maybe they think it's the vendor, they think it's something else, but it's usually because they're not training their staff well enough, and we'll talk about that as well. But what we want you to get really good at: requotes, win-backs, cross-sells, customer referrals, referral partners, social media network. All those things you can do without spending money. Most of those things you can do without spending any money. That's what we really want to talk about. It's like, look, let's think about the things that are in front of us right now that you can get better on, that don't cost a lot, that can keep your acquisition costs low and keep your margins where they need to be without just going out and spending thousands and thousands of dollars. People do that every single day. So these areas, we want to start here, and we have content, we have scripts, we have courses all around all of these things to help you and your staff understand, how do I take a requote or a cross-sell, and turn that into a real opportunity.
Yeah, so this is just a screenshot of the index of one of our script documents where you see where we take you and teach your staff how to work basically every lead type, how to overcome the most common objections at the beginning of a call, the most common objections at the end of the call, how to do very important parts of the CWC sales process, which is leading with liability, building rapport, assumptive quoting, assumptive closing, right? Getting the deal done. So just a little screenshot to show you all the scripts. We don't have too much time. We can't teach right now, how to work all these different lead types, but there's something that we do want to take a moment to teach. And if you use this right now with you and your staff, we can guarantee you're going to get more business. Let's talk about how to get more referrals.
Definitely. We want you to get as many nuggets out of this as possible. And look, I think when it comes to referrals, so many salespeople, not just people in the insurance business, but salespeople all over the place in every industry, they don't want to ask for them. They feel like it's kind of slimy. You might feel it's kind of slimy. You might be thinking, I don't want to ask somebody for a referral. I don't want to, give me the 3 names of the people that you know the most, or, those kind of things. People have taught that for years. And you know what? We used to teach that years ago, and people would role play it and it would go well. And you'd think, oh, we solved this problem. The problem was people would not do it. Like, they would role play it, and maybe you could teach somebody a talk pipe, but they wouldn't do it because of whatever feelings that they have. So, we changed that. And when you think about referrals, when you think about the relationship of the person that's referring, to you, what is the relationship with that person that you get that referral from? It's typically going to be family. So what we did is we changed our talk path. When you finish writing a piece of business, let's say I just finished writing Joseph and wrote his cars, his home, his umbrella, did a great job, gave him a lot of good advice, fixed a lot of gaps in his coverage, that type of thing. And it went really well. When I'm finishing up that transaction, I'm getting towards the end, I've already done the assumptive close, I've already got his money. Hey, Joseph, I'm just curious. I meant to ask you earlier, do you have any family in town? And I would just ask it just like that, and just wait for him to respond. Now, a lot of times what happens when you say that, do you have any family in town? They go ahead and tee up a referral for you. Yeah, my dad lives here. You really ought to talk to him. He could probably use the same kind of help that I got. And there's your referral. Okay, great. But if they don't, let's just say he says, yeah, my dad lives here. Well, what I'd like you to do is teach your staff to stop using the word referral and start using the word introduce or introduction. It's more neutral. It doesn't imply any kind of quality or recommendation. Okay, so when he says that, yeah, my dad lives in town, say, you know what, Joseph, that's great. I'd love an introduction. would you mind introducing me to your dad? Most people are going to say yes. Most people want to help you, okay? Most people are going to say yes to that. It's easier for your staff to ask because, again, it's neutral. So, Joseph, would you mind introducing me to your dad? Sure. Okay, great. Would you mind me texting him and letting him know that I'm going to be calling, okay? So he gives you the cell phone number. You ask him to send that text. His dad gets a text, then you call, okay? It's a much, much easier way than asking for a referral. So if I get to the end, hey, you go through the whole talk path of trying to get a referral, first of all, most people are not going to do it. So we can get around that by changing the verbiage. Stop using the word referral, start using the word introduce, bringing up family, making it very conversational. And look, the worst thing they could say is, no, I don't have any family in town. Fine, move on. The key thing for you as an owner is to hold your people accountable to that. So every time they sell a piece of business, every time they have a sale, something gets done, we need to think about who was the introduction, right? Who'd you get introduced to? And if there wasn't anybody, then why? We need to go back and maybe do a redemption call and talk about that. But try this moving forward. If you make this a part of your process, just like you do, you got to get MVRs, you got to get social security numbers, you got to get dates of birth, right? You have to get all these things that are required to get a deal done, to get a policy written. Just make getting an introduction part of that. And that'd be a great way to spike your new business without costing you any money at all.
Yeah, what's beautiful is we teach not just this, but other strategies for your staff to generate leads from their own personal network, friends, family, social media connections, all that stuff. How to work your win-backs, your requotes, your cross-sells, all those different things on the platform. That's just one nugget of literally hundreds on the platform. Let's talk about working our list. What is the objective when your team member works their list? Have you ever given your staff a list of like 50 requotes or 100 win-backs, past customers, say, hey, work this list. And then later that day, like, hey, man, I worked the list. No, they did not work that list, y'all. We got to work them over and over and over. We talk a lot about persistence on the platform. We have a phrase here at CWC, persistence pays. Persistence pays. And I just think that's really, really important that they get that in their head. If you're spending money on leads or you have all these resources and they're going to call through a list once or twice, they might as well not. And as Craig mentioned earlier, getting in touch with people, TCPA compliance, phones muting unknown callers now, like by default. We got to make sure that we're hitting people over and over and over and utilizing all of our resources at our disposal and leverage technology. We teach how to get your team members to get people opted into your texting program compliantly, how to utilize lead management systems to nurture leads over not just a few days, but weeks and months, the scripts to utilize once they do finally get them back on that phone to assume the quote and get back into that deal and get rocking and rolling. So let's do more with what you already have now, and let's get more, not just from you, right? Your staff need to be bringing something to the table, and it's really powerful for your team members to be watching us talk about that and other team members that we coach on these live training sessions every Wednesday afternoon. It is powerful. Now, we got to also spend a couple minutes, but we're running a little light on time, on these other paid lead sources like direct mail, internet leads, live transfers, and more.
Yeah, look, I think this still has to be a part of your overall program, right? You can't just avoid paid leads. I think the key thing is, number one, let's first make sure we're doing what we need to be doing fundamentally. Let's do that right first, right? Organic stuff that we just talked about. But when you get to paid lead sources, direct mail, for example, you can't just go out and buy a bunch of direct mail mailers, send them out in the mail, and, the first month look at it and go, well, that didn't work like I wanted, and then cut it off. We got to make sure we have a plan. We got to make sure we train correctly. This all needs to be a process. And look, do all of your staff need to be involved in that? Maybe not. Maybe use it as an incentive for the very best ones or the ones that are doing the best job or making the most effort. What I'm saying is you've got to have a process. Don't just go out and spend money and buy any of these leads, direct mail, internet, live transfer. Look, internet leads are some of the most difficult leads to work because so many people are chasing that same lead. If you don't have your organization set up as a machine to go after those people and have a process that's documented where you follow up the right way at the right time, you're probably going to lose out. Of all these different sources that we have on the screen right now, direct mail, that's probably going to be the lowest acquisition cost because they're calling you. But you still got to have a process for that. So, we will definitely teach you and work with your staff on how to work these lead sources. The main thing is that you think about it and you do it smart to begin with, where you don't just go out and dump a bunch of money into something and hope that that lead source vendor is going to pay off for you.
That's right. So let's recap. We've gone through 2 pillars. We have found some team members, gotten them on board. We're giving them training and development, get them rocking. And we got some leads. We got some lists. But let me ask you the next question to transition to pillar number 3. Let me ask you this. Are you frustrated by constantly getting beat on price? Are your staff frustrated and constantly complaining about getting beat on price? Well, I have great news for you. Pillar number 3, the third pillar, is how to compete in an uncompetitive market. Raise your hand right now. We can see through your webcam. I'm just kidding, y'all. We can't see you. But raise your hand right now if you'd say, Joseph, I think that we're in a pretty uncompetitive market right now. Just about everybody watching this is raising their hands, right? Craig, how can we help them overcome this challenge?
Absolutely. This is a huge problem. When I started back in 96, Hurricane Andrew had just come through the state of Florida. And it was a very, very challenging time. It was very, very difficult because rates were just through everybody was having to deal with that to keep from going bankrupt. So we've dealt with that for years, hailstorms, windstorms. If you look up the number 1 city in the country for tornado damage, you get Huntsville, Alabama, which is where I started, my first agency. So we've dealt with this forever. And, what we have to do is we got to get away from price. So we're going to talk about that for just a few minutes. I want to show you, let's go back to our friend Paris, who had an unbelievable increase in his business, and his staff saw that it was possible to sell, higher premiums. Well, how was that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about, in this particular part of the webinar, is getting away from price, getting away from that whole adage that the only way I'm going to get a deal done is if I'm cheaper. We can't do that. We have to focus more on what that person needs. We got to really make this all about this moment in time to get this deal done. So we like to talk about the one call close a lot. We really preach that. Now, does every call end up being done in one call? No. Every close being done in one call? No. But that's what we want to try to do. We want to create a sense of urgency to show them why they don't have, what they need and what we need to do different, how we need to build this, what we need to change, to really get them to do something now. And sometimes maybe they don't finish it all up in that one call, that one close, but the way we leave that, we're so much easier to be able to follow up with them and get them to finish up that deal. And that's what we want to talk about. So, most likely you're in a market right now, which everybody seems to be, with rate increases all over the place, basically all over the country with every carrier. You're probably in a state where it's very difficult, where everybody you're talking to, you're higher than what they've got today. So we have to get away from that. We have to get away from focusing on the price and really focus on what we can control. There's so much that goes on throughout the transaction that's out of our control. We don't have coupons. We don't have Black Friday. There's nobody to call to reduce the premium. We have to focus on what we can control. That's our recommendation, our advice, and basically the coverage. So when you think about the value proposition of your agency, right, and your producers and yourself, whoever it is that's talking to people, you have to think about what sets you apart. And a lot of times, producers especially, they like to think that what sets them apart is being personable, being able to talk to the same person, and all that's good. But what really is going to set you apart is being able to give advice, being able to really talk to somebody about their specific situation and explain, this is what I recommend based off where you are today. So it's not always about price, is it, Joseph? It's really more about what we do with that person to get them to understand you don't have what you need. Here's a solution to this problem. And then price doesn't necessarily go away, but it becomes a lot easier to talk about.
Yeah, and I'll pull up this slide here that shows Starbucks and McDonald's, both fine establishments, fine establishments. I love Starbucks, y'all. I get this cold brew with sweet cream cold foam on top. I like lick the lid. It's amazing. It's so good. It's also $6. $6 for that cup of coffee, right? Or I could go to McDonald's and get like a large cup of coffee for $1. Y'all, people buy what they want. They buy what they want from the clothes that they wear, the cars that they drive, the coffee that they drink, the phones. Y'all, how much money do people spend on these things? How much money do people spend on these things? Literally, the device alone, $800 to $1,200 or so a year, plus the monthly service, $60 to $80 or so a month. Oh, you better got those streams, right? Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus. I could go on, right? Y'all, people spend literally thousands of dollars a year on a cell phone. All right. What we want to do is position our product, give our customers the right advice to where they want to buy our product regardless of the price. And I'll pull up this quote here from Seth. The reason it seems that price is all your customers care about is that you have not given them anything else to care about. So it's all price, price, price. You know, watch TV, every commercial, save 10% in 10 minutes, save 15% in 9 minutes, right? Save $764, right? Whatever, right? It's all about price, price, price. That's what customers know. We got to take it further with our clients.
Yeah, and the reason why all the companies market that way is because that's what gets customers to take action, right? They don't know about liability limits. They don't understand what any of these coverages mean. All they know is how much they pay. They know how much they pay every month. So every company out there is trying to get a call to action, which involves the price. So sure, that's what they're going to talk about because that's what people understand. But once they get in your door, once they get on the phone, once you start engaging with them, we got to turn that conversation around. We have to make it about what really matters the most. Because at the end of the conversation, okay, if you just quote anybody, you know, and this, if I ask your staff this, you know, how often are you going to come up higher? Well, you're going to come up higher the vast majority of the time, right? And if we're going to be higher, we might as well have reasons to be higher. We might as well do something that differentiates us from the competition so that when we get to the end, it's like, well, yeah, I know it's higher. I'm surprised it's not higher than it is. I'm surprised it's not way different because your coverage is way different. So we're going to focus on what they really need. And that's why it's really important that you lead with liability. That's why that you start the conversation off with what really matters. That's the whole tone of the conversation. You're solving these problems, you're filling these gaps, and then when you get to the end, if it's higher, you know, and that's okay because they're getting so much more than what they have right now. And when you create that sense of urgency and you get somebody to understand, you know, wow, you're lucky nothing's happened over this period of time. Not only are you doing the right thing for them, but you're going to close so much more business because it makes more sense. That makes it for a reasonable person that's interested in working with an agency, okay, when you show them all that and you get to the end and now it's $100 higher, $150 higher, $200 higher, whatever the number is, now it starts to make sense. Now, like, you know what, and you break that down daily and you show that to them, now you're delivering on the true value proposition of your agency, which is to put them in a good spot and make sure something bad happens, that they're well protected. So the price, we're not sitting here saying it goes away. We're not saying that at all, but we can diminish that. The bottom line is the truth is most producers, most people in our business are very transactional. Just punch up all the data, here's the price, and you hope it's less. And quote apples to apples. So whatever they have right now, that's what they quote them. They get to the end, it's higher. Well, not gonna get this deal. And they move on to the next one. And then they get frustrated over time because they just can't compete. They can't win. We got to stop doing that. I have to stop selling apples to apples. Start talking to people about what they need. Don't commoditize your product. Don't put yourself in a position now where everything's just the same. You got to lead with liability 100% of the time. You know, leading with liability is the most important part of that transaction because that's the most important coverage. That's the one that's going to get them in the most trouble. A lot of companies have all these different features and different things you can add on for a little money here, a little money there, and that's great. And some of those things differentiate you where you can win, then fantastic. But the liability, that's where someone is going to have financial chaos if they don't have what they need. So you can grow your agency a lot faster and a lot more profitably if you'll focus on the value and not on the price. When you win people over on price, they leave on price. When you win people over on value, they stay with you longer, they refer more, they buy more products from you. It's just a totally different situation, totally different scenario. And long term, when you get ready to sell your agency, which one day hopefully that will happen, you're going to be able to get a lot more for it because it's built so much differently than one that's just built kind of like a sweatshop. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of agencies are run. Whether you intend it to be that way or not, that's what's going on because people are they're just punching in data. Okay, this one was $8 less, and then they try to close that deal, and that's what they win on. They win on price. So it's just not. It's a flawed strategy. If you're trying to scale your agency long term, it's a flawed strategy to try to lead with price. You just don't get where you want to go. You can't build what you're trying to build when you lead with something that's going to be a disadvantage the vast majority of the time. We have to focus on what they need. Solve those problems, fix those gaps. You'll close a lot more business.
Yeah, and I'm going to pull something up right now. I'm going to pull up this slide that shows Craig Wiggins agency customers, over $40 million book. Y'all look at this. 53% of the households here, auto and property households, have an umbrella. 53% of those customers, most of which had never heard of an umbrella, they likely had lower liability limits before we got to them. Ask yourselves this question. How many of those customers could get insurance cheaper elsewhere? Probably almost all of them. Actually, let me ask you this question. How many of your current customers could go somewhere else and save a little bit of money, but they choose to stay with you, right? Yes, going somewhere else, they might cut rate their insurance, right? Increase deductibles, cut coverages. But honestly, a lot of your current customers would go somewhere else. They'd call 4 or 5 insurance companies and find 1 or 2 cheaper today, but they stay with you. What we want to do is bring those high value type customers on, sell them the right way by truly protecting them. And we could go on and on, but we don't have time. We could go on and on for hours and hours. For your staff's perspective, it's really important that they buy in. They buy into their role in the lives of their customers and just how important it is. We have a step-by-step process. It's called the CWC Sales Process Scorecard. The CWC Sales Process, where we walk you and your team members through really the perfect sales transaction, how to position it all well. That's why your close rates are about to go through the roof. You're going to be bundling so much more. Your agents are going to be very happy and excited too, because they're going to be able to write a lot more policies when they're focused on selling the one thing that they control, their advice and the coverage, not the price. But again, we could go on and on this topic. I think we might need to move on to the next final piece.
Yeah, and just real quick, just lastly on this, look, guys, it's easy to say lead with value. All the carriers say that. It's another thing to actually do it in a way. When you look at those numbers that Joseph showed you, that the reason why we write so much business is because we get that umbrella to begin with. When you get someone bought into that, then we write the auto and we write the home. We get the boats. We get everything else they have because now they're focused on protection. They're focused on what they really need the most and not so focused on the price. So you're right. We could spend a lot of time. We could do a whole a 3-hour webinar on how to lead with liability and what that scripting looks like and go through all the entire process. The main thing, though, is understand that is how you beat the competition when you're uncompetitive. You lead with liability.
I want to ask you this question right now. Let me pull this up. Are you ready to transform yourself, your staff, your agency, your business, your future? Are you wanting to take more control during everything that's going on right now, all the challenges, unique situations? Are you ready to transform and evolve and to thrive into this new age? Well, we want to invite you today, right now, to take action. Take action and get started right now with CWC On Demand. Here is everything that you're going to get once you and your team become a part of the CWC On Demand virtual training platform. Ladies and gentlemen, literally everything that you need. So everything that you need to compete in today's new world, to grow your agency into a well-oiled machine that can run with or without you, from how to recruit and hire staff, to how to train and develop your team, to how to work your leads and do your marketing, how to run your business operations, literally all mapped out from you with Craig's over 25 years of experience, mine, 12, 13 years or so of insurance experience now, all done for you. And you know what's beautiful is it's accessible anywhere in the world. on any device, from smartphones to tablets to computers. As long as you're using Chrome or Safari on any device, you have access to this powerful information at your fingertips anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and you may be thinking, that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot of content, but how you implement it and how you leverage it in the agency, that's really the great thing about it. All these videos that are on our platform, and I shouldn't say all, the vast majority of the videos, they're short. They're meant to be consumed in a short period of time. Most people don't have, 2 hours a day, an hour a day to devote to training. They just don't. It's very difficult to pull your people out of that environment. So what we did is we built all these modules where the chapters, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes long, that kind of thing, and you have your team watch 2 to 3 videos every day. Start off the day, 2 to 3 videos, 20 minutes a day. Over time, they can really start to absorb and get a lot of content and learn a lot of information that sticks with them for a long time. And they'll enjoy it because they're listening to people who are just like them. They're listening to people who do what they do every day. Same thing for yourself. When you start watching the content, we have it broken down different sections. We have a owners and managers section, sales section, service section. There's even a section for life insurance, all these different things. So when you want to watch content that's designed to be consumed by the owner, you're probably going to be listening to me. Okay, you're going to be listening to me talk about different things you need to do in the agency. When your staff's watching content on how to sell more, they're probably going to be listening to one of our staff, maybe Joseph interviewing one of them and talking with them about what they do. So very, very relatable and easy to consume. So don't worry about the fact that, hey, this is going to take a long time. It's not really going to take you very much time. Some of our best users, what they do is literally 20, 30 minutes a day, start the day off with just a few chapters, makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and I'm going to pull up this slide here to list just some of those benefits. Full access to everything, 1,250 training videos. I know it sounds like a lot, like Craig said. How do you read a book? You start with the first word on the first page. How do you run a mile? I don't know. Never run one. I've never run a mile, y'all. I can power walk a mile. How do you run a mile, though? You take the first step, right? Just getting started, and you will be shocked at all the valuable information that's right there. For a limited number of users, y'all, there's no additional charge. Whether you have 1 or 2 team members now, maybe you have 10 or 20 team members now, it's all available to you for one flat rate. And here's something really cool. You can add your own videos to this custom platform that we create just for you. Nobody else can see your training videos. Maybe you have videos on like how to process applications or do things within the agency, how to request time off, information on your dress code or your handbook. You can actually see when your staff watch those videos. It's really cool for internal compliance and internal training. Really awesome.
Well, that can help you a lot. Just real quick on that note, we have a lot of members. They went and got a Loom account. And when they get questions over and over and over, which everybody seems to do, right? Instead of answering those questions every single time, and maybe sometimes answering them differently, they just create a Loom video. They send that to us, we upload it to their account. So now they've got a place to permanently store information to train in the future, and that frees up their time. So instead of having to answer that question over and look, as an owner, one of the most valuable things you have is your time.
Yes.
And when you're spending time training people on the same basic elementary things over and over and over, some of them may be very system oriented or something very specific to your carrier, well, we can help you with that. We have a place we can house that. If you need help, how do you actually put that together? Reach out to us. We can help you with that as well. It's very, very simple, easy to do. Don't have to worry about the lighting or any of that kind of stuff. Just create something that gets that message across consistently. And now going forward, instead of having to take your time and stop and doing what you're doing to train, they can watch that video. That's a great benefit of this platform.
Yeah, what I love is you can see if they did. So you can say, hey, did you watch the video on how to do that flood endorsement or whatever? But yeah, I did. And you can look and say, the report said you're a liar. I'm just kidding. Hopefully not. But y'all, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. So having a way to hold your staff accountable to inspect what you expect is powerful. Now, here's another awesome benefit included at no additional charge, as long as you're a member of CWC On Demand, is consultations with Craig. If you're looking at buying an agency, selling an agency, anything along those lines, having that consultation with Craig is worth hundreds, thousands of dollars. He can help you with the ideas and the structure of the deal and all that kind of stuff, really point you in the right direction, can save you so much money and headache. He's been involved in literally dozens and dozens and dozens of transactions all across the country. You're going to want to pick his brain if you want to buy or sell an agency. And y'all, there's no contracts. There's no commitments.
No.
We're not going to make you sign your life away. No, we just want to help you. We just want to help you and your team at the level that you need for as long as you need. And yes, we do have various other programs where we can work more closely with you and your team. What we recommend is just getting started with CWC On Demand today. That's the best way to get started with CWC to have access to these programs. But wait, there's more, okay? I'm sorry, that was corny. Y'all, there's even more. See, on-demand videos are nice. It can be at nighttime or during the day. You could be commuting. A lot of our members use like their phone to log in at wigginsuniversity.com and treat it kind of like a podcast while they're exercising, commuting, getting ready in the morning, stuff like that. That's good, but there's nothing like live training. So here's what we do. Every single week, for all members in all of our programs, we do live training every single week. Myself, other CWC coaches, special guest agency owners, special guest staff. It is powerful to do those live training sessions for you and your team every single week. No extra charge. No extra charge. What's beautiful about this whole platform is its peer-to-peer aspect. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, look, having somebody that does what you do, explain how to do something is just invaluable. It's when you're sitting there listening to somebody from the education department or a manager, and those people, they may be very well, maybe they know what they're talking about, but for most people, they want to hear from somebody who does what they do, who's been in their shoes and understands, what they're struggling with and what they're going through. So all of our content, it's geared around that. We try to make it very, very relatable. We don't hire any actors. There's no, sales professional, guru speakers, anybody like that. We bring real people in. All of our guest speakers, guest coaches, they're other owners or other staff that have done things at a really, really high level and are willing to share. So that I think that peer-to-peer element is definitely a huge benefit of this program, and really what separates us from a lot of other people out there trying to do similar kinds of things, because we do make it very relatable and people are able to buy in a lot quicker.
Yeah, and I think that your team will really relate with me, with our producers, the other guest staff. Here's the thing. You as an agency owner likely have training from your insurance carrier companies that you work with. That's like for you, right? About running the business and all those kinds of things. Hopefully it's pretty good training. Your staff don't have that, right? They don't have access to the same level of training that you get. And they want the opportunity to get better. They want to be trained. They want expectations. I'm telling you, they do. They want goals and expectations, but then a path to make it happen. We can't just go in there and slam our fists on the desk, say, write 50 policies a month. No, we got to create a plan, give them the tools and resources to make it happen. Your staff will love the training. Every single Wednesday, have almost 1,000 people in our live training sessions, and seeing the hundreds and hundreds of chats coming in from staff from all across the country and owners from all across the country talking about how CWC is transforming their agency is amazing, and they really appreciate it. This is an investment in your staff's development. That is a huge benefit for being on your team.
It really, and the other thing that's a huge benefit for is when you're trying to recruit somebody. When you're in the interview process and you can explain to them, we have a world-class training program to help you be successful in this business. That means a lot, and when you're trying to compete, whether it's with another agency or another company, another opportunity, and you can say that about your organization, that may be what puts them over the edge to come and join your company. So it's not just with the people you have now. It's a way to leverage the recruits that you have going forward to make good hires.
That's right. Now, I'm on to the next part of your membership that honestly, I can't pick a favorite, but it's up there. It is up there, y'all. It is the over 100 documents and processes in the CWC library. All right. Everything from the done-for-you scripts on how to sell more policies regardless of price, how to sell on coverage and bundle, from overcoming objections to how to work basically every lead type, from cold calls, internet leads, live transfers, to what we talked about earlier more in depth, requotes, win-backs, cross-sells, how to ask for more referrals and generate more referrals, how to close the deal. But there's even more. we have example agency handbooks. We have the example compensation plans we showed y'all some examples of earlier. Marketing guides, operations guides, quote logs, quote forms. Literally everything that Craig used to build his $40 million mega agency empire and that thousands of agencies all across the country use, they're yours. They're yours. They are worth literally thousands and thousands of dollars, all included for you and your agency and your team to utilize as you're transforming your agency. So Craig, I really think that we've teed up a lot about this program. Let me ask you something, Craig. Someone might be watching this right now thinking this probably isn't for me. What would you tell them?
Well, look, I think if you're watching this and thinking this probably isn't for you, that you just don't understand how important training is in your agency. And look, years ago, I mean, was I a big proponent of it? No. I had a very different outlook on business and what I felt we needed to do to get where I wanted to go. And this was probably one of the last things that I thought about, honestly. But, if you think about most companies, high-performing companies, they spend a lot of time and resources on training. Sports teams, can you imagine a team showing up to play a game that never did any training, never watched any film, never had a plan for practice? They just showed up and played a game? No. So, look, this has to be a part of what you're trying. And look, today, with everything that's going on today, this is so critical to be able to work through the challenges and navigate through all the things being thrown at you, whether it's from your carrier, from consumers. Take all this information. I wish there had been a guide like this, even a fraction of this 25 years ago from myself. It would have saved me a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of heartache. All this has been put together in a way to make it very easy for you. Now, you still got to do the work, right? You still got to train. There's still things in there you're going to have to figure out and you might make some mistakes on. But it gives you a fantastic way to get your people up and running, up to speed, doing things at a high level, things they've never done before. And it's also going to help you. It's going to help you understand what you need to do. So many people in our business, they just get hired because they were a good salesperson. And maybe they're not so great at running a business. Maybe they're not so great at developing a team or managing people or how do I train, all those things. They're kind of like left to figure that out. And there's really nobody to help them with that. Well, this can solve a lot of those problems. This can be the thing that really takes you over the top and make a huge difference for you moving forward.
Yeah. Now you might be saying, Joseph, I think I could probably, reinvent this wheel myself. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. Let's talk about that. If you were to build all this stuff out, maybe you hire a Joseph, right? We actually have a course on the platform, how to find your Joseph, right? To run your agencies like Craig did. He developed me and I took over a lot of the day-to-day operations. Maybe you want to hire somebody. Let's see what that would look like. So let's take a look here at the monthly value of CWC On Demand. So agency operations and management training. Think of getting the type of training that you're going to get individually. You got to pay someone at least $2,000 a month for that. $2,000 a month just for that. The complete hiring process. Y'all, I cannot understate this enough. Having a well-defined hiring process with those 12 steps and not skipping a single step, following it, you are going to make so much better hires. Your head's going to spin. You're going to be thinking, why wasn't I doing this for years? Will you still occasionally make a bad hire, even if you follow our process? Sure. But by us helping you not make bad hires, it has $1,500 monthly value here. That's way wrong. Like that, it's way more than that. Think right now how much money you've wasted on people that were not good hires that you kept for 3 months, 6 months, God, even more. So $1,500 a month value of complete hiring process. The elite sales producer training valued at $1,500 a month. Think about the weekly trainings, the videos on the platform, all of the resources that we have available for your sales staff. Would you pay $1,500 a month to have somebody do that for your staff? That's a deal. That is a deal if that's literally all they did. But no, this person that you're wanting to outsource this to or do it all for you is going to charge a little bit more for the whole package. The customer service training, elite customer service training, also valued at $1,500. We must get our service team to do much more. They have much more potential than just processing payments with a smile. Thank you, come again, right? Doing endorsements, quick updates to policies, maybe filing a claim, maybe talking to a customer who's upset about a rate increase, right? They can do so much more. And y'all, there's something that we make really clear. This is a sales organization. Your business is a sales organization. Now, we still want to give great service, of course, to our customers, but it can't just be service with a smile. To put it simply, one thing that we teach your service staff is this. Their job is not just to process transactions fast, efficient, with a smile, right? Their job, their role in the lives of their customers is to put ourselves in position to help your customers when they need us. But see, how can we serve our customers if we haven't sold them? So $1,500 a month value, that honestly is also understated. Like, we will help you generate so much more new business from your service team. Your head is going to be spinning thinking, where did all these policies come from? Where did they come from? We'll show you. We'll show you. The life insurance and retirement training is fantastic. We have some of the best life insurance producers in the country that lead this training. It is wonderful. There's over 14 courses on just generating life and retirement business that you and your staff will love. It's really, really powerful training. And it's a wonderful way to add more revenue to the agency, to make the book more sticky, to increase retention, all those things. But you know what it boils down to is it's doing the right thing for the customer. And one thing that we teach you and your team is if we go into every interaction just simply seeking to meet the needs of our customers, we will never have to worry about a sales goal. We're not pushing product, we're meeting needs, and we're giving advice, and we are asking for their credit card number. We are asking for that payment info. We're going to seal the deal because we're not paid to quote, ladies and gentlemen. We are paid to close. But y'all, the life and retirement training is amazing. That's also valued $1,500 monthly if you had somebody doing that just a couple times a month with your staff. Marketing and lead generation training valued at least $1,000 monthly. How to get more from your lead vendors, how to hold your lead vendors accountable, how to train your staff on how to work all the various leads and marketing. Everything from direct mail, live transfers, internet leads, all paid lead sources, plus the free lead sources, the do more with what you already have sources. We literally have hour-long training videos on all those, plus dozens of shorter videos for those with shorter attention spans and want to see those quick snippets that Craig was talking about earlier. And last but not least, what I still say is got to be one of my favorites, but honestly, every part of the program is my favorite, that document and process library, y'all. Easily valued at $1,500 a month. If you had somebody just helping you create a couple documents a month, it would cost more than that. You add all this stuff up. You hire somebody to outsource this, you're looking at well over 10 grand a month. Well over $10,000 a month to have somebody do this for you.
Okay, so you listen to that 10.5 number, and that may sound like, that's a lot. There's no way that would cost. Look, if you hired somebody that actually came in and did all this work, it would be well more than that, I assure you. I've had people through the years in different leadership positions that did this kind of work, and the cost was a lot more. And I understand, you're not actually hiring somebody to come in there and do that. But I think the value is very similar in terms of the lessons learned and being able to apply that and implement that into your agency. Frankly, that 10.5 number is probably low. When I look back on the things that we've done in a way where at the time maybe sounded great, maybe that should have worked out, but it didn't, and then have to go back and re-engineer and have to fix this and do that different. Would the cost been more than 10.5? I think there's a lot of times we would have said that it would have been way more than 10.5. So I think that number is probably a little bit low in terms of the value that you're getting from all of this. No question about that.
Yeah, think right now how much money you do spend on leads, marketing, things of that nature. We just throw stuff up on the wall and see if it sticks, right? We do some leads for about 6 months and we realize, wait, we only wrote 4 policies off of that $12,000 ad spend or lead spend. Y'all, let's save you thousands and make you millions, okay? Let's turn this thing, transform your agency and let it roll. Y'all, we're not done. We're not done. There's a couple more things that we're going to include in this. We have a CWC success coach that will work directly with you and your staff for the first few months to make sure that you guys get rolling quickly in the program. Not just on how to use the program, but ideas on where content is, strategies and sessions, how to utilize some of the resources on the platform. You'll have a monthly consultation with email support in between with our success coach for the first few months. Zero charge, free. If at some point you decide that you want more ongoing individual support, we do have other programs for that, but let's just get started with CWC on demand today, which includes your very own CWC success coach for the first few months. And there's one more thing that I want to mention before we get to this special offer that we have for you today is the Craig Wiggins Coaching Facebook group. It is a fantastic resource to network. There's over 4,000 members of our CWC Facebook group where you can network with other agency owners, managers, and even team members all across the country. People pass leads back and forth. Maybe you have somebody, that's moving to your state. They're on the group that say, hey, I got somebody moving to your state. And you say, we can help them. So you can transfer those policies in. Maybe you have a great customer that's moving out of state. You post, boom, you got somebody that you know will take great care of them because they're in our program. It's a wonderful place to share success stories. You'll see lots of people sharing tips and information and all that kind of stuff. It is also a place for people to share their challenges, not just the problems. Y'all, we don't just bring problems, we bring solutions. But let's be real. Nothing's all rosy and rainbows forever and ever. There's going to be challenges with systems, technology, rates, underwriting, carrier-specific stuff. There's all the help you can get there.
But we keep it positive too,
Absolutely.
right? So there's a lot of times where people have issues, and there's a lot of groups on Facebook where it's just a place to go and vent and complain, and that's not the way that we run that group. We want it to be a place where people can go and find some answers to what it is they're struggling with. And sometimes there aren't any answers. Sometimes it just kind of, is what it is. And you could talk about that a little bit in that group. But what we don't want are places where, a legitimate question or a legitimate problem that maybe does have a solution just turns into this big rant. So it's a very positive environment. A lot of really good people in there willing to help each other out. A lot of people contribute on a regular basis. And it's a great benefit of being part of this family, that's for sure.
That's right. Well, let's go to this last slide here. So y'all, here it is. Here it is. Over $10,000 a month in value. $197 a month. That's it. Total. That's about $6 a day. Total. Whether you have 2 users or 20 users, it's $197 a month. It's about $6 a day for unlimited access for you and your entire team. Remember, again, there's no contracts. There's no commitments. You know what? You're not happy within 30 days. We'll just refund your money. No worries. That never happens though. So, I imagine there's a way that we could do it. Actually, I know how to do it. It doesn't happen. Y'all, but it's $197 a month. That's it. $197 a month to have access to all of this. You know what we're going to do though? We want you just to try us out. That first month's only $49.95. It's $49.95 when you use this promotion. Just for attending this webinar, this special, we're going to pay you back for doing that. It's $49.95 the first month. Then it goes to $197 a month forever. We're going to lock that in for you. If we have rate changes, rate increases in the future for future members, that would be locked in for you as long as you're part of the program.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if you're on the fence about this, for $50, if you just had an idea, maybe we've shown you a few things within this webinar today, but the number of people that have dramatically changed, not just their agency, but their life because of the freedom now that they have, or maybe just when they go home at night and they go to sleep, they feel good about what they're doing and the way things are headed, and there seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel. It's worth $50 to give it a shot. I promise you, to be able to have all this turnkey in front of you to help you, to help your staff, to make better decisions, to learn, what's working, what's not working, how to say certain things, what to do to get through all the challenges that this entire industry is bringing us, and it's not slowing down. It's gonna be more and more difficult going forward. You've got to be as good as you possibly can be, you and your team. You're not going to be able to just do it the way we used to do it 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Those days are gone. Now you've got to be really, really good. So you need to sharpen your skills and do everything possible. And for $50 to give this a shot, I assure you it's worth every penny. And Joseph's right. I don't think we've ever given a refund to someone that didn't find any value in it. But if you did, all you have to do is let us know, and we'd be glad to refund your money.
Now, don't just take our word for it. And by the way, thank you for giving us your time today. I hope you got a few good nuggets when it comes to staffing, recruiting, leads and marketing, and of course your sales process and getting your team members and yourself to sell on coverage and value, not just price. I hope that you took a lot of notes and got some nuggets. But thank you for your time today. I know that you're all about to click to sign up and enroll. Maybe you've already started that and you're just listening to this in the background. Hello, you can still hear us. That's awesome. But if you haven't clicked that button below yet to get started, I don't want you to just take our word for it. We want you to hear from some of our awesome members that took some time to record just a few, short second testimonials. And you'll see there's a lot of them, but we crammed them all into just a couple minutes. Let's just real quick take 2 minutes. Let's take a listen to what they have to say, how CWC has helped them transform their agency.
On CWC and what Craig and Joseph and the whole team is doing to help agency owners like myself.
Hey, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Craig Wiggins teaching platform for insurance agents, CWC.
Craig and his entire team have been so instrumental in my additional development, my team's development.
And we went from writing 2 or 3 pups a year to absolutely dominating and leading the state.
I love it because it's really made me be more accountable and to really inspect what I expect.
We've seen a remarkable increase in our production.
And I can tell you it's the single best investment that I've ever made in my entire organization.
Give you a roadmap to success that truly helps us shape our conversations to help people.
Wiggins Joseph and his crew have developed an amazing platform.
It has improved my agencies dramatically.
It's a game changer, and I highly recommend CWC.
Everyone that I've taken to a live event has come back with a total different mindset and just blown through their goals.
Honestly, I was very hesitant to sign up for any kind of coaching program for various reasons, but I'm really glad that I listened to my gut.
The staff feel more confident because they know how to overcome objections.
By having Craig Wiggins coaching has completely removed a lot of the stuff that had me panicking and a lot of the reasons why salespeople under me were failing.
It gives your people the courage and the confidence to be able to sell better limits.
There's nothing out there that can help an insurance agent more than this platform.
Not only has Craig, been a mentor and helped us, but he's become a really good friend.
And so I felt lucky when I met Craig and Joseph at a conference and enrolled in their program.
Craig and his team have done to help me and my team become more successful has been fantastic.
This platform has changed me as an agency owner, an agent, and a person.
It's changed my agency and it will do the same for you.
We showed immediate success.
And at least 100% increase in our umbrella policies.
All around, my team is just better performing. And it's because of CWC.
You get a lot with the membership. It's not just about the training videos, and it will truly propel your agency to another level. So,
if you're thinking about Craig Wiggins or wanting it, it should be a non-negotiable with your agency. Go in and sign up today. I guarantee you will definitely get the return that you're looking for.
Do you, your staff, and your agency a huge favor. Join the CWC family as soon as possible.
Anyone that's not using it needs to try it, and they will immediately see the impact it can make.
So I would recommend CWC to anyone that really wants to take their business to the next level.
Those people, they're amazing. And you know what is really cool is a lot of those people didn't know from Adam when we first started working with them, and now they're some of my best friends. And this entire community, the CWC community, it really is like a family. It's amazing to be a part of these people's journeys and watch the success that they've had. So we really want to work with you. We really, truly, this is what we're passionate about. So we spend all of our time doing. Ever since I've sold the agencies, this is our baby. This is what we do all day long, every day. So I hope you got a lot out of this webinar. I really do. I hope you got some nuggets. Really hope that you join our community, our family. We hope to see you at a live event or maybe a workshop one day in the future. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys and welcome you into the CWC family.
Video on CWC and what Craig and Joseph and the whole team is doing to help agency owners like myself.
Hey, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Craig Wiggins teaching platform for insurance agents, CWC.
Craig and his entire team have been so instrumental in my additional development, my team's development.
And we went from writing 2 or 3 pups a year to absolutely dominating and leading the state.
I love it because it's really made me be more accountable and to really inspect what I expect.
We've seen a remarkable increase in our production.
And I can tell you it's the single best investment that I've ever made in my entire organization.
Give you a roadmap to success that truly helps us shape our conversations to help people.
Wiggins Joseph and his crew have developed an amazing platform.
It has improved my agencies dramatically.
It's a game changer, and I highly recommend CWC.
Everyone that I've taken to a live event has come back with a total different mindset and just blown through their goals.
Honestly, I was very hesitant to sign up for any kind of coaching program for various reasons, but I'm really glad that I listened to my gut.
The staff feel more confident because they know how to overcome objections.
By having Craig Wiggins coaching, has completely removed a lot of the stuff that had me panicking and a lot of the reasons why salespeople under me were failing.
It gives your people the courage and the confidence to be able to sell better limits.
There's nothing out there that can help an insurance agent more than this platform.
Not only has Craig, been a mentor and helped us, but he's become a really good friend.
And so I felt lucky when I met Craig and Joseph at a conference and enrolled in their program.
Craig and his team have done to help me and my team become more successful has been fantastic.
This platform has changed me as an agency owner, an agent, and a person.
It's changed my agency, and it will do the same for you.
We showed immediate success.
And at least 100% increase in our umbrella policies.
All around, my team is better performing. And it's because of CWC.
You get a lot with the membership. It's not just about the training videos, and it will truly propel your agency to another level. So
If you're thinking about Craig Wiggins or wanting it, it should be a non-negotiable with your agency. Go ahead and sign up today. I guarantee you will definitely get the return that you're looking for.
Do you, your staff, and your agency a huge favor. Join the CWC family as soon as possible.
Anyone that's not using it needs to try it, and they will immediately see the impact it can make.
So I would recommend CWC to anyone that really wants to take their business to the next level.
CWC, don't wait, get it.
if you have not done it yet, do it.